Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and today there was a huge Apple event for the iPhone 11, just as we expected, and there was not as much news as I thought we'd see, but quite a bit. So I wanted to run down all of them as fast as I can to try and give you an idea of what happened, what the new things are, what things cost. So let's talk about iOS 13 first. Now, iOS 13 will release to the public on the 19th of September. It will be available to all devices that are supported, the iPhone 6S, 6S Plus, SE, and newer, as well as the iPad Air 2 and newer, and iPad Mini 4 and newer. Now, along with that comes iPad OS, but that comes out on September 30th, along with iOS 13.1. Now, they actually didn't talk about any of that on the stage. They talked about that afterwards, and it was released through different news sources. So those are the final release dates, and we should see those soon. Now, they also talked about Apple TV Plus, and this actually turned out to be a pretty great deal. It's $4.99 a month and starts on November 1st. But the great thing is, if you buy a new iPhone or a new iPad, you get a year of it for free. So basically, everyone's going to get Apple TV Plus if your country actually is supported. Now, also, Apple Arcade comes out on September 19th, and Apple Arcade is $4.99. Gives you about 100 games by the end of this year, and they'll add to them every month. They're premium games, should be pretty good. We'll have to see when it comes out, but you do have a free trial, so you can try it out for, I think, about a month or so, they said. Now, of course, let's get on to the new iPhones. The new iPhones have three different names: the iPhone 11, the iPhone 11 Pro, and the iPhone 11 Pro Max. I was hoping they weren't going to use Pro Max, but they did. And these are just the dummy units, but let's talk about them because they're pretty close to what we thought. So the first one is the iPhone 11. The iPhone 11 is the replacement for the iPhone XR, and it comes in a little bit cheaper, about $50 cheaper at $699, 64, 128, and 256 gigabytes. So you can get it in those sizes. Now, it has a new chipset in it, an A13 Bionic processor. It's the same that's in the Pro devices as well. They didn't talk about RAM, but iOS doesn't use a ton, so we won't know that until they're actually out and we can take a look at them with people like iFixit. Now, the nice thing is they come in a bunch of different colors. The new ones are green and purple. So they're just calling them green and purple, very simple and straightforward. And then it's got the same 6.1-inch liquid retina display that the iPhone XR has. Some people won't be happy with that. Others will. I think it's fine for most people. Most people that have it don't even care, and I think it's good for most. It also supports Dolby Atmos and spatial audio, which is something new. I guess it sounds a lot better. We'll have to see when it comes out. And then the big thing about it is it has two new cameras. Now, we knew it had two cameras, but they're pretty good. They're new camera sensors in actual glass, and they record 4K 60 and also have their dynamic HDR while recording in 4K 60. We didn't have that before, only in 4K 30. So they've got a wide and an ultra-wide lens, and also a night mode that should compete with the Pixel phone. So it'll be pretty interesting to see what that looks like. And then one of the things that I think is great is the forward-facing camera is now a 12 megapixel camera that can take slow-mo selfies that they called slofies, I believe, something like that. I think it's a terrible word, but either way, slow-mo selfies and 4K 60p forward-facing video. So that should be really interesting to check out. Maybe I'll be able to record videos with it because this camera has some pretty interesting video capabilities. Now, it also has a new U1 chipset, and that U1 chipset is for locating things. Now, Apple did not talk about any new locating devices, anything like that. We thought they'd have a Tile competitor, but we didn't see any of that. But supposedly you'll be able to point your phone at the device you want, locate it, or point your phone at a device you want to airdrop to, and it will know you want to airdrop to that device. So it should be pretty interesting to see. Once we get our hands on it, of course, I'll try it out. Now, as far as battery life is concerned, you get 1 hour over what the XR had. So it should be a little bit better battery life. That's pretty nice. IP68 rated now and faster LTE. Now, the iPhone 11 Pro gets features on top of that. So the features that it gets are a new Super Retina XDR display, and this is to be named in line with that new Mac Pro display they showed a few months back. But what this is a 1200 nit display, up to 1200 nits HDR, 458 pixels per inch, 2 million to 1 contrast ratio, wide color gamut, and it's haptic touch. No 3D touch. 3D touch is gone, so it's haptic touch only. Now, of course, it gets the Dolby Atmos spatial audio, but the one thing it gets that's really nice is a third camera. So you've got a wide, a telephoto, and an ultra wide. And the new chipset is 20 to 30% faster, that new A13 Bionic. And what they actually showed on stage was really impressive. They showed the company Filmic, which makes Filmic Pro. They actually have a new app coming out by the end of this year that can record from all 4 cameras at once. So the 3 on the back, 1 on the front, and you can record all 3 of those at once at 4K 60 with no slowdown, no thermal throttling, nothing. At least that's what they claim. So we'll have to see when they actually do that. That's pretty unbelievable. Also faster Face ID for both phones, Wi-Fi 6 for both phones. And here's the crazy thing with these new devices. The iPhone 11 gets up to 4 hours more battery life than the XS. The iPhone 11 Pro Max gets up to 5 hours more battery life than the XS Max. So that's incredible if that's true. Supposedly some of that is due to the display, but it'll be pretty interesting if they have that. And then finally, they're including an 18-watt USB-C to Lightning charger in the box with the Pro devices. And that's the one that comes with the new iPad Pro, and that will charge your phone 50% in 30 minutes. So it's fairly fast. It's not the fastest out there, but it's definitely faster than we have now. Now, the thing we did not hear about is there is no Apple Pencil support. There's also no reverse wireless charging. Now, the interesting thing is we thought this would be on the new phones, but it was kind of shoved aside at the last minute. So it still could be there in the future, but right now it's not there. Now, they also reduced the price of the iPhone 8. They reduced the price of the 8 and the XR. They got rid of the 7 and 7 Plus. Those are no more. You can't buy them new. And so the 8 starts at $449. The XR starts at $599. We have the 8, 8 Plus, XR, 11, 11 Pro, and 11 Pro Max. There's no other phones new for sale anymore. Now, of course, there's new cases and watch band colors that they announced, and there's new Apple Watches. We have a new Series 5 Apple Watch, and the Series 5 brings 2 new finishes. We have ceramic and titanium, as well as a new S5 chipset. And this starts at $399 for the aluminum, and then goes up to $1349 for the ceramic version, which is called the Edition. So we've got all of those in between, but the S5 should give it about the same battery life, but it has a new display that's always on. So it's got an always on display. You actually can put your arm down, lift it up, the display is on, and it will also get brighter. And it can go from 1 hertz or 1 hertz per second to 60 hertz. And it actually reduces power that way so that it can last all day long. So that's really, really interesting. Now, you also have a built-in compass, which will give you direction and also elevation with a new compass app. So that'll be nice just to have on the go. And now the Series 4 watch actually goes away. They lowered the price of the Series 3 to $199, and the Series 4 is gone. And then you have the Series 5. So you have a pretty inexpensive option with the Series 3, and that's still an excellent watch. So I would recommend that to anyone. In fact, I actually have one in my house. My wife uses it, and it works great. Now, the only other hardware they showed off was actually the iPad, and the iPad gets updated, and it's the baseline iPad. It's the 7th generation iPad, and it's $329, just like the 6th gen. But it gets a little bit bigger display at 10.2 inches, and then also gets that smart connector, so you can use a smart keyboard with it, or also an Apple Pencil. And then it has an A10 Fusion processor in it. So it's not incredibly impressive, but it's very low priced. And I think that's a great value for what they're actually giving you in it. And they actually claim it's 2 times faster than the best-selling laptop, which is probably true in actual specs, but I don't know about in real life. But we'll have to get our hands on that to try that out. So that's it for the iPad event. I was really hoping for a couple more things, maybe that new tile locator, or maybe even a preview of AR glasses. It seems like they're still working on something like that. But That's all we had this time. What we expected, it wasn't very exciting as far as surprises, but I think it was a decent upgrade. Let me know what you think, though, in the comments below. What do you think about this camera bump? Go to apple.com and check it out yourself, and let me know what you think about what it looks like. I think it's not bad. The new colors and things like that I think are fairly nice. But let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to get your hands on the new wallpaper I have in the thumbnail of this video, I'll link it in the description. And if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe and hit that notification bell if you'd like to see more of these videos as soon as they're released. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.